Hi, I'm Peter.
And I'm Katmia.
Welcome to the This and That Chat. So we just celebrated 21 years.
The finish line. Woo!
We actually had a conversation about this. So we went away on a nice little 4-day getaway, which was absolutely amazing.
It's called an Annie Moon.
Is that what it's called?
No,
I didn't know that.
I just made that up.
You would.
But watch it be a real thing.
What is it? Annie Moon?
Yes, because I literally just found out about a baby moon. I didn't even know that existed, but that's a thing people do. So
What is that? Like your getaway after you have a baby?
No, it's while you're pregnant, you get away because you won't be able to get away after.
Oh, we did that.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did. We sure did.
Before we knew what it was called.
Yeah. See?
But
So what is? Hold on. An Annie Moon?
An Annie Moon. I'm gonna look it up while you keep talking.
Yeah, we're gonna need to do.
If it's real, because I made that up myself.
We will have to go
I
get
need
copyrights.
credit for that.
Yeah. So we were talking about just the getting away and being able to. Did you find it?
I did.
No, hold on. We're just hold on. We're taking a left turn here.
Oh, I'm so
What is
sorry.
it?
Oh my God! It's an Urban Dictionary.
Okay.
It says when a monkey and a moosey go away for a week or more and do a lot of mating and exploring new territory.
A what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Abort.
Abort.
They eat chewy cookies and eat chocolate and whipped cream. Okay, and skip the next part.
Yeah, so we're gonna
No Annie Moon. I did not invent that.
And this is a normal day in our life where
God,
we
I'm
think we
sorry.
come up with stuff and it's not. Anyway, so going back to my story, so we're driving. We went to Naples, to our favorite little spot on 5th Avenue, and we were talking about how many years we've been together, and we were discussing, is it 21 years or are we is it our 22nd anniversary or what? How does that work? And I think the best way, the way I ended up kind of explaining it to Ketmia was
Because I'm the one with the questions, clearly.
of course, was that you don't get the stamp on your passport until you make it through security at the airport. So you can't say that you went to any country until you actually have gone through the door.
Customs, right.
So on April 8th, we actually went through the door of 21 years.
And then we walked into the start of 22.
A start of 22. So we're a few days in, and we're still together, so things are good.
And in love.
And in love, yes. For sure.
And it was such an amazing getaway because, everyone has been affected by COVID in such a variety of ways.
Mm-hmm.
So vacations and stuff like that, that's not, people aren't doing the normal stuff anymore. In fact, we actually had a cruise planned for this anniversary because we were supposed to do a family cruise last year, which got canceled because of COVID. And so we ended up pushing it to this year so we could go away. And Royal Caribbean called us back to say, sorry, but we've got to cancel your cruise because nobody's sailing. So, and it's good because we weren't ready to go cruising yet. Nothing is where we thought it would be right now. So,
and we also, looking back, we didn't last year for our big 20th anniversary. We had plans, and we ended up staying home and tearing up half the house doing projects and all this kind of stuff. That's what it ended up being.
Yeah, and I think actually I read somewhere that a lot of people, because of COVID and being home, were doing a lot of renovations to their house. And, people were doing floors, people were doing roofs, whatever it was, because you're there and you're looking at your house and you're like, hey, got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
to do
And
that.
for us, I mean, we're fairly new at this, so we've been, we bought our house 5 years ago now.
It was in 2016, so it'll be 5 years on Cinco de Mayo.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
It was so funny because, when you get married, I think that many couples have this idea. If you're not getting married with your house already purchased, I think that a lot of couples have an idea of wherever they were with their parents, whatever life they had with their parents, and you try to rush it, like getting into a house and stuff without realizing that it took your parents years to be able to get their own house.
Well, we waited 16 years.
We did.
Almost, I mean, a month off, not even a month of just celebrating our 16th anniversary. I remember that year, it was so stressful. The whole process, probably more for me because I was the one that was dealing with all the backdoor financials.
Well, and I'm sorry. I mean, you jumped ahead, but I wanted to say something about that, about us getting a house. My dad, for years and years and years, would tell me, why don't you purchase a home? You're throwing your money away renting, right? And yeah, we wanted to have our own home, but we were just not in the place to be able to have our own home. As we discussed before, we got into so much debt that we really would not have been able to afford it. I mean, I think we could have gotten a house and then we probably would have been foreclosed on, and that's...
Especially with everything that happened in,
Yes.
2008?
In 2008, yeah. Oh, my gosh. And we were looking around that time, remember?
And the thing is, for us, we made choices early on in life, like wanting to homeschool our kids and wanting to do things not in the most conventional place or conventional way. So that kind of slowed us down. Because, I mean,
because that required me to stay home and you to be the only provider for our family. So, yeah, we could have had more.
Yeah, of course.
But we opted for...
Listen, I looking at it, I don't know. I don't know that I would change anything. I think it would be. I think we would do it the same way. So,
but going back to what you were saying about you being the one behind the scenes. I mean, you were the one behind the scenes from the get-go. I remember it just being a regular day when you called me and you said, "Don't be mad," and I was like, "What? What am I gonna be mad about?" And you're like, well, you see, the thing is that I was just curious to see if we could qualify for a house, and I filled out an application, and we got approved. And to me, that was, I want to say that this was late January, early February of 2016.
Yeah.
Okay. And to me, that was shocking because, yeah, of course, for years we've been talking about getting into a house, and we had even talked about the following year, us being really serious about looking for a house because they had recently just raised our rent where we were living at. And it was not even, we weren't getting any extra amenities.
To me, that was, I think, my
your
motivation.
tipping point.
Because I was like, what the crap?
So you completely shocked me with, hey, we're putting it, we got approved, and we got approved for a house.
Right.
Value.
We got approved. It's like the pre-approval, like letting you know, hey, you guys. We got qualified. I guess.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Well,
we were qualified for a certain amount, right? And
my head was spinning.
And we started looking.
Yes, because I feel like even maybe that afternoon, did we go see somebody? Because we went first and we saw that guy. Remember?
Oh yeah, that guy was weird.
Well, I mean,
hold on.
Let's clarify.
Not the guy.
Let's clarify that.
That
office was shady. Is what it was. Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
It was that whole thing did not feel good. It was just really like we walked out of there, we looked at each other, and we were like,
I think we walked in on a day when they were laundering money.
I don't know what they were doing.
That's the feeling we had.
Whatever they were doing, we wanted no part of
right.
that.
Yeah.
Yes. We walked out of there, and then I remembered that.
Well, a friend of ours actually pointed us out too.
Right, they pointed us to the realtor that we used.
That it was someone we knew from before, and we didn't ever think about.
And then it all lined up I actually worked with one of them, and I knew the other.
And I just want to give a shout out to her.
Yeah.
I really do. So
well, to both
any
of them.
local people, that's true. Any local people.
Jenny Garrett and Tracy Watson, the bomb.
I
like,
mean,
listen.
amazing realtors. For our being our first experience, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but we recommended her to my sister when she was selling her house.
Yep.
My parents when they were selling their house.
And I don't. How many more people have we sent her
Oh my
way?
goodness!
Just
But I mean,
because
it's amazing.
we were.
to work with
Listen.
them.
I was so stressed out. I didn't understand any of the process, and they both worked tag team in such a way that you just felt super comfortable and confident.
Confident.
That was the
huge.
biggest part.
Yeah.
We were so confident. And then when we found this house, so the house that we found.
Well, it's interesting because, sorry, I keep going back because
Yep.
there's so many good things that happen. But so the looking process was really fast paced. All of a sudden, we had a ton of different listings because we knew that there were two things that we wanted. No compromise on them.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted an enclosed backyard because I was done with having to walk our dogs on leashes.
Yep.
Okay, so we had to have that. And it's funny because we weren't even thinking about the kids at this point. It's just the dogs. And the second thing is we wanted a garage. And those were the two big things
Yeah.
that we wanted.
No, and when we looked, we'd look at that, and if it wasn't there, we'd be like, no.
Right. And so
Well, hold on. So we saw a couple that had a yard, but
Mm-hmm.
they weren't enclosed, and we looked at them because we could maybe just close them off or whatever. It just wasn't clicking.
And you have to understand, like, for those listening, in our area here, there's a lot of development that's happening. Houses are going up like a
Every
mile a
5
minute,
minutes.
okay? And all of, what used to be our area down here in South Florida used to be a lot of farmland, a lot of open land, and all of that is being taken up with housing. So when you say yard, you have to modify your expectation of what a yard is.
Well, Miami, in general, like Miami-Dade, the way that the houses are going up, like you look out your window and all you're seeing is your neighbor's wall, because the houses are barely wide enough for you to walk around your house to get to the backyard. And when you get to the backyard, you have, an 8 by 20 foot little space.
And that's generous.
That's
generous, So our realtor, took us to the last house that we saw that I will not ever forget this, okay? So we walk in, and these people, these owners of the house who are selling it, they are clearly from
the country.
Okay? There are multiple animals hanging from the wall. There are, rifles hanging from different locations, and the entire house is carpeted.
Yep.
And you can see that their hound dogs have had a field day with their office. In fact, when we go upstairs after getting through the smell of the house, when we go upstairs, we had to step over dog poop as we were trying to
on the staircase.
As we were trying to peek into bedrooms that were so filthy. It was kind of like an episode of Hoarders. I don't know, but it was just such an awful house that we went to, right? And our realtor...
The sad thing is it had potential. Like if you
Yeah.
closed your eyes really, really tight and kind of squinted a little bit, you could see what it could be.
And then, our realtor, we were like, that was a terrible, terrible house. And she says, well, for the price range that you're trying to go for, that's what you're going to get. Because she had been trying to convince us to try to look outside of what we had been approved for. And she said that's...
Well, and also outside of the area that we were trying to stay in.
That's true, So she did that kind of like a shock and awe for us to see this is as good as it's going to get for you. And so we were like, okay, let's listen to her, right? And let's look a little bit outside of where we want to be, right? Just I think out of curiosity. And
Well, was it that night that I went on?
no, it wasn't you. Do not even try to take credit for this
it was
house.
you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, just have to clear that up, okay?
Whatever.
Because our free time was spent, I think you were on Zillow all the time. I think that's where we were looking for houses. And ever since we moved down to this area, there was a specific neighborhood that we had brought our kids to learn how to ride their bikes, to learn how to rollerblade. We had family picnics here. We flew kites here. I mean,
We come for trick or treating every
yes,
Halloween.
everything. Okay, because this is the only neighborhood on our side of town that is not enclosed with
Right, an enclosed community with
right,
gates and
right, and all that stuff.
that kind of
So
stuff.
it's open, right? And the community actually is very, very old, over 20 years old, because it was here.
Well, our house was built 1980.
Oh yeah, so there
So-
you go. Okay, so that's how old this community is, and so it's an established place. It's not one of these new communities that have like baby trees growing, and people are buying before anyone's even moved in and stuff. So this is the place that we had said when we first moved here was one day. Wouldn't it be amazing for us to live in this neighborhood? And little did we know that it's such a popular neighborhood that houses don't even last.
Well, there are houses here that don't even go on the market.
Yes.
And that's true today.
Today.
Yeah,
Today.
because there's houses that the sign goes up in the front of the house with a sold sign. Mm-hmm. It's like they don't even have time to put the.
And I don't even know. Oh, I guess it's just the realtor advertising, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure
Because
that
I don't know why they would do that. If it's sold, why are you putting up a sign?
I think you have to. I don't
Yeah,
listen. I'm not
I
a
don't know
realtor. I
about
don't
that.
know, but I would think that you probably
I
by
thought it was
law
for
you have to put it
advertising.
out, right?
I don't know. We could look that up. But, I mean, just on that point, a couple of years ago, a guy came to knock on our door, and he said that he was just handing out flyers for an open house that was happening, I think, 4 or 5 houses down from ours. And you talked to him, and he said, and you told them, oh, well,
was
we
like,
know
yeah.
people who want to buy a house
I know
here.
someone who is looking for a house in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I put them in contact, and they bought the house.
They bought the house before it even got a showing.
Never even
Never got a showing. And that was with those neighbors, and then even the people across the street from us who
Right.
were friends of ours that we also, once they were selling, we were able to get them in here. So I
Yeah,
think that this
it-
is a community where if you know somebody in here, you're more likely to get the inside track on when a house goes for sale. But back to the story, then, on this particular day, I just happened to see that there was a house listed here in the very place that we wanted to live. And so I told you about it. You called our realtor, and amazingly, it was the same day, within hours.
like 2 hours later,
we come.
it had been posted, or it had been listed on the MLS, whatever, that afternoon. And just a couple hours later, we were walking the house to see it.
And we showed up at the same time that another family had scheduled a walkthrough, but they were late. So the lady who was not our realtor, it was the owner's realtor who was here to show the house, said, okay, well, you guys got here first, so I'll let you guys walk first. And then if the other family shows up, I'll tell them to wait outside.
Yeah.
And the moment we walked in through the door, mind you that the owner of the house was in the process of packing. So we had, it was still not an empty house for you to visualize it as your own, right? But the moment we walked in, even the kids had been with us to every single house. And all of us said, this feels like home.
Well, remember when I called, I believe I called Tracy, and she said to me, she's like, it's above what you guys have on your letter approved. I can't even show you the house unless your letter changes. I was on the phone getting the extra. It was like $15,000 more that I needed to get on there. And I had that letter on my phone, and we were like rushing, and we got it, and we were able to come in to see the house. And we walked the house, and like you said, it just felt like it was the house. And well, we put in an offer.
Right, because we told our realtor we want it. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is the house. Okay.
Yep.
And even like just the house itself was perfect. One of the things that I know people are going to think we're crazy about it, but another thing that we were wanting was imagining this as our forever home, right? That's what we wanted to purchase. And it's funny because a lot of people purchase a starter home and then they go to their forever home. But at this point,
Right.
it's late in life for us. We skipped the starter home part and we're just going into our forever home. And one of the things that you and I had talked about was when we're grandparents, when we're older, do we want to have a 2-story house where we're struggling up the stairs? You know, so this was a 1-story house, perfect, you know, and then the rooms, the kids had their own rooms. There was a guest bedroom. Never in our life had we had a guest bedroom.
We had
the garage,
we
the
had
enclosed yard.
Yep.
Oh, and then.
And it was, yeah. So let me talk about the yard. Yes. So we get here, right? And we're standing in the kitchen and we look out. There's like these, like, I don't know, are they bay windows? I guess you could say it's a big, like, sliding glass windows.
No, it's not a bay window because
No, bay window is kind of curved, right?
Yes.
So it's like a sliding glass door that's a window. There you go.
Yes, it's one of the most beautiful features of our kitchen.
Yeah, it's like you can see out into the entire yard. And the previous owner had a koi pond right in the back with just a whole, like, overgrown jungle that was behind it. And so
he was really into like natural growing, like everything
there
that was natural to Florida.
Yeah, the entire yard from corner to corner just
looked like the Everglades.
Yeah, it was just a random like there was one tree next to the other that they just didn't, you know, that was what he liked to do. And
that's what he liked to do.
But we're sitting and I look out and I kind of told Ketmi, I was like, the yard's kind of small. I don't know. That's the only thing, but I think we'll be okay. And Tracy says,
and hold on, because it was like the koi pond, but then there was also a screened-in back porch, which was. Would you say it was kind of the size of all the houses that we had seen their actual backyard?
Yeah.
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 Right?
So the screened-in back porch was the size of the yards that we hadn't seen.
Right. So I was kind of bummed that there was no grass and that, you know, they hadn't closed it, but okay.
And then there was this little space just outside.
The koi pond outside.
Didn't have any grass. It was rocks all the way around it, like the little pebble rocks and the garden. And we have a picture of it. We can put that up so you guys can see it.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, the yard's kind of small. You know, whatever. We didn't think anything more of it. And Tracy says, oh no, you need to go out to the yard to look at it. It's actually really big. This is a half-acre lot. It's the biggest lot in this area. And we're like, what? So we walk out, and as soon as you go around the side of the koi pond and you step back, there's like a whole other yard that sits on the back of it. And we had missed out that there was a huge, absolutely beautiful gumbo limbo tree that we still have in the backyard. And
talking about this thing has to be as old as the house itself.
Yeah, I mean, it's humongous. It's 40 feet tall. It's humongous. And we can put a picture of that back in there too. But there was just so much more yard than we had expected. It was like mind blowing. And that
I actually thought when we went out there that it was a common area.
Right? Yeah.
For
it did feel like
the
that.
neighborhood.
It did feel like that. It didn't feel like it was.
I was shocked.
Yeah, it was just huge, but yeah, it was so great to see that there was that much space.
I mean, and like we didn't even know what to do with all that space.
I don't know if do we. I guess I can deviate a little bit and kind of say the koi pond story? Because that was one of the things that we just listen. We weren't fans of the koi pond. It was kind of cool, like to go and see it at somebody else's house, but I didn't want to deal with that part of it. Anyways, we had been trying to decide what are we going to do with this. Like, I don't want to just kill off the fish. I don't want to just get it out of there. Like, we just couldn't.
Well, I mean, hold on, because didn't you love the koi pond when we saw it? Because I feel like I'm the one who was against the koi pond.
I thought it was a cool feature, but I
Yeah.
wasn't a fan of it being like
Well,
my thing.
I think that
And in
the
my
reason
in my family,
in your family.
my dad had a koi pond. My grandparents, my uncle, like that was a thing.
Right, and so
I was
I kind of felt bad
walking into a club.
Well, see, there you go. So, and the thing is, I mean, I don't know nothing about koi, right? You said they were very expensive fish, right? The previous owner had done an amazing job of creating a habitat for them, essentially, right? I mean, he had working pumps. He had, this.
Yeah, he did a good job.
He did amazing, right? And so, and they were really, really big fish, and a lot of them, But then, the mosquitoes.
Oh my! And the frogs.
Okay, so I'm not afraid of frogs. All right.
Yeah, but they were everywhere.
But that's the thing.
It was dangerous.
It looked like one of the plagues.
Yeah.
Okay. At night, you could see our grass moving.
Yeah,
As
it was
if
full.
wind was like traveling through the grass, and it wasn't. It was a blanket of toads, because they're not even frogs. Okay, and everywhere. So, again, I'm not afraid of them. I actually think that they're helpful because they're eating the bugs, right? But with our dogs, that's a problem.
Yep.
Right? So, I kind of felt bad that I initially told you I don't like the koi pond, because what are you supposed to do with it? It's not like you can just sell it and give it away.
Yeah. Well.
Or can you?
Or can you? So, I don't know. I don't know if it was your idea or my idea.
It was, well, I mean, I think it was your idea.
I was like, what if I put this thing on Craigslist? Let's see what happens. I literally...
Did you put it on Craigslist or
Craigslist.
OfferUp?
No, Craigslist.
Really?
I literally put it up and I said, $500, but you do all the work. Like,
people are probably screaming at us right now.
Oh,
$500.
yeah. Listen, I gave it away, but I didn't care because they came and did all the work. That guy called me, I think within an hour or two of me posting it. He was here the day after. And by that afternoon...
because he was like, I'm calling to see if this is a real offer.
Yeah, but...
What exactly are you selling?
I was like, everything. Well, he ended up coming... He took even the rocks. He took all the rocks. He took the liner.
I watched this thing go down because you weren't home, right? So these people show up, and it's like he has his own crew, and he's here directing them, right? And first, they dug up all of the natural plants.
Yep.
Okay, and they took them. And then rock by rock, and we're talking about these were flat rocks. I think like people use them as pavers, but not pavers. That's a bad way to
like stepping stones.
Like stepping stones, okay? And they're like black slate, and they're stacked on top of each other to create, I don't know, curves and stuff to the pond.
You'll see the picture. The picture shows it.
And so rock by rock, they take this out. And once they got all that out, then they start catching first they half drained the water.
Right.
Okay, so they bring in this giant hose, like vacuum hose. They start draining the water into trash bins, it looks like.
The 55-gallon drums.
Yeah. And then they start catching these giant fish. And we're talking about over a foot long.
Mm-hmm. No, they were big. They were
really big, right? And they start catching them and throwing them in there. And then he finishes emptying the water. And when he finished emptying the water, I got a clear view of how bad the, what are these, toad problem was. Because it was, they were jumping everywhere.
Because they didn't have their...
Right. They were naked now.
Yeah.
And they were running around everywhere. And I was, wow, that shocked me. And then he even took the lining of it, literally left us a hole in
Yeah.
the ground. A
It
hole in the
was,
ground.
listen, that was the best thing. Like, it was so amazing to not have to do any of that work. Those guys worked hard.
But let's put a pin on that and come back to it, because I feel like that's going to take us to what we did with that hole.
Okay.
All right. And so I just want to finish what happened with the house, right? Because
Okay.
clearly we got the house,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
But when we put in that offer, they told us to go in high with the offer that we put in so that we could show the owner that we were serious, right? So we went ahead and we put in, what is that?
Well, no, we put,
That initial offer.
it was,
But I'm saying, like, what is that called?
I don't know, it was just we just put the offer on the house.
And it was on March 17th.
It was.
Okay.
I was wearing my lucky,
Leprechaun shirt?
Yeah, my leprechaun shirt.
Right. So it's a lucky day, right? And we get told the owner has accepted your offer, because besides the family who came in right after us, there were other offers on the table.
Yeah, I think in total it was like 7 offers. And a few of them were kind of like ghost offers, where it's people who are in other countries calling and saying, "Oh, here are cash offers," and which always happens.
Right.
So, but we were worried that we weren't going to get the house.
Oh, no, because, I mean, who are we, And we don't know what other people are offering. So, we get told, okay, he likes your offer. Great. This is amazing, right? We cannot believe it. We're now in the process of going through all of the closing process. And for anybody who's bought a house, if you know, you know. We don't need to get into that, okay? But so then...
I still have nightmares.
Okay. Well, and that's where you and I differ, because I am la-di-da, everything's going to work out. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it, okay? And you, on the other hand, are panicking over every single detail. And you're right. And I don't take anything away from that, because you are the one who is behind the scenes, looking at the paperwork, looking at the finances, doing all of that stuff. I'm just here enjoying the ride. Okay. So yes, but for me, I was not stressed. I was 100% sure we're going to get this house. 100%. Okay. And you, on the other hand, sometimes you're like, yeah, we're going to get it. And other times you are like, it's not going to happen.
The thing is that the underwriters would tell you one day, oh, everything's good. And then 5 minutes later, they're like, the world is falling apart. I need your blood type. I need a nail sample. I need a hair follicle. I need a eyesight exam. And you're like, what for? And you're like, I need it all.
That's crazy. But 2 things that we learned through there, right, was about money and how they look at your bank account and how they want to know everything about every cent in your bank account. And so your parents had been super generous to gift us closing costs money.
Yeah.
Okay. And so they gifted us a large sum of money. Mm-hmm. And we were so ecstatic, right?
We were like, amazing. This is incredible.
This is incredible.
Thank you so much, Mom, Dad. We love you. My goodness, we're over the moon.
Right.
What do you do with a large amount of money? You deposit it.
Of course you do. Where else does it need to go? That's how we're going to pay for it. We're going to write a check for our closing costs. And then they come back to us and they're like, where is this money? Where did this come from? You have to show us proof that, or you can't use it at all. And everything comes to a grinding halt. We had no idea that during the time that you were closing, nothing can change in your life. You can't switch to a new job. You can't put large sums of money into your bank account.
Yeah, they canceled out almost $8,000 worth of money that we just they could not verify, even though even though they technically could verify it, but they just look at it as a shady situation because of the way that ends up happening. Listen, my parents, thank God that they were so accommodating.
Accommodating
because
is a
let me
great
tell
word.
you, they cleaned through every line of our stuff, and then to be able to prove that the money that my parents were giving us as a gift wasn't shady on the other side, they went through all of their accounts.
And that was so horrible because I felt like we had dragged them into something that they had done something kind and good for us. And it seemed like now they're going to shine a spotlight on your own personal stuff,
Yeah.
So, gosh, I wish we could have gone about that a different way. And that's one of the key things that I tell people when they're like, oh, we're getting ready to buy a house. It's like, don't make the mistake that we made. And I wonder if we had told somebody beforehand, if they would have given us advice on that. But, we didn't know. So we got over that hump, right? And that was what?
We kind of thought we did, but more to come.
Right. Okay, so that was one of those where you were like, that's it, we're not getting the house at all. And I was like, it's going to work out. Don't worry.
We were
okay?
still waiting for the owner to let us know that he had chosen our offer.
Right.
And
well, so then, right, what do you have to do? Inspection or what's it called? Appraisal. The appraisal.
But that's we still have to get the
call. The appraisal has to.
No, you get the call. We got the call first that we got the house.
Yes, okay.
But before we got the house, we were really worried, and Ketmia had an amazing idea to write a letter to. Oh no!
No, sir. Why are you messing it up? I'm telling the story as it is.
Because I jacked it up.
You jacked it up. So, thank you.
The last 3
Let's
minutes,
rewind.
Don't listen to anything that I said.
I was on the right track here.
It gets better.
Okay, so the appraisal comes through, and what happens was the gentleman was selling the house way above what it was appraised at. Okay, that's why we had to get that letter saying that we were approved for more than we originally were approved for. So we were willing to pay the price of the house. But now we find out a second thing.
Yep.
The bank will not fund that because it isn't appraised at that value.
Right. So anything over the appraised price, we're welcome to pay it.
Out of pocket.
But it has to be out of pocket.
Right.
And we can't use any of the money that has been deemed unworthy.
Right. Okay. So here we come. And at this point, now I'm thinking, oh, crap. So I've been the one who's the cheerleader here saying, don't worry, it's going to happen. But at this point, everything's out of our control now, right?
Well, the owner has the option of changing their selling price.
Right. Or relisting.
Or relisting.
Right.
And we lose that opportunity.
Right. So that's where, I told you, hey, we don't lose anything. Let's write him a letter. Let's write him a letter asking him to reconsider selling us the house at what it was appraised at, which was $15,000 less than what he had posted it for. Yeah. Incredible, right?
It was our original amount.
Unbelievable. So then I write this letter and I pretty much tell him the same story we told you guys, that this is the neighborhood that we have dreamt of living in. The house feels like home to us. We can see ourselves making memories as a family, having our grandkids run around the house. This means so much to us, and would he consider selling us the house at that price? And we gave it to our realtor. I think our realtor said that she cried. And off it went, right? And then I feel like you were in a tomb for a few days.
Well, okay. So has this ever happened to anyone where when you're like in like this space of despair, or you're just like everything around you is just falling apart? It's a Sunday afternoon. We had 2 flat tires on our van. I had been sitting at Walmart forever because it's the only place on Sunday that's open to be able to do anything with tires. Like, it was just one of those things where it was just horrible. I'm tired. I'm cranky. And the phone rings. And it was Jenny. And she's like, "Hey, Peter, I listen. I'm actually away this weekend. I'm out in the Keys, but I just got a phone call and I needed to call you immediately." And it was a call from the owner to her that said that they were reducing the price to what it was appraised at, and
They wanted us to have the house.
They wanted us to have the house, and they said that the letter made the difference.
So, not that it's going to work for everybody, but that was shocking, because he definitely, I think somebody else could have had the extra $15,000 out of pocket to pay for it. And he could have gone through the process again, so it was amazing. And then like I said, we put in the offer on March 17th, which was our lucky day.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got the keys to the house on
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, which was another party.
Yeah. Well, we were supposed to close on the 4th, and then
the force was not with us.
The force was not with us. We were just running around trying to get the last little bit of paperwork approved and whatever it was, and it just was not happening. And I remember Jenny calling me and saying, don't worry, everything is lined up to happen. It just is. It takes some time, and this stuff happens. All right, well, I'll give you a call in the morning. I don't think we slept that night.
I'm pretty sure I slept just fine.
Yeah.
Because by this time I know the house is ours. It's going to happen.
Right.
You need to be a believer.
So the next day, we spent most of the day just waiting for the phone call, because they got to call you and say, "Hey, we're clear to close." And when we got that call, we ran down to the closing office and we signed
1,000 papers,
1,000 bazillion pieces of paper, where it was just one thing after another we were signing. And I would have signed whatever you put in front of me if that's what the end result on that was going to be, us getting the keys to that house.
It was unbelievable. It was surreal to walk into our own house.
Yeah.
Our own house. Never again having to do a rent payment. Every payment makes this house ours more and more.
And what about, hold on. We didn't even talk about the backside of this. What about getting out of the apartment that we were in? Because we were still on a lease.
Yes, we were. And we were on a lease until November.
Yeah.
Right? So, funny enough, I mean, these people were going to, the lease we signed anyway required us to pay rent for every month that we were not there until we moved out. Right? So, we left in May. We would have had to pay through November. And, I mean, who's going to do that? You don't even have money to do that. Mm-hmm. That's 2 mortgages pretty much, right?
Yep.
So, this is, I think, why I was so sure everything was going to work out, because things were working out in a way that just it doesn't happen, right? So it just happened to be that we mentioned it in front of a group of people that we were, hey, if you know anybody who...
Yeah, because we went to the office and we were like, what can we do? Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, somebody can take over your lease and we will accept that.
Yes, right.
So... like Katmy said, we just mentioned it in a group of people, and
in that group of people, somebody said, "Hey, I want it."
Yep.
So we ended up leaving our security deposit with them so that they wouldn't have to put it up. And we ended up helping somebody in a way, because this was a single mom with 3 kids who had been looking for a place to move in on her own. But the thing is that here, and I don't know how it is in other places, but here, most places require you to give first, last and security, you've got to come up with at least $3,000 to move in anywhere.
If you find something for $1,000,
Right. That's what I'm saying. At minimum, that's what you need, and I think we were paying about $1,200 in this place when we left. So, for her, she didn't have to come up with first, last, and security. She just had to have the next month's rent. And that was something that she could do.
She would just come right into it.
Yeah. And as far as I know, from the last time I heard something, but this was a few months ago, was that she was still living there.
Mm-hmm.
So it ended up being something that worked out really good for her. She got approved by the association to live there, and that's it. We traded off. We're moving out, you move in, and we don't have to pay anything extra.
And it was a perfect situation.
Too perfect.
It worked out for them.
Yeah.
It worked out for us.
Yeah.
And we are in our forever home, because for real,
Yes.
we're not. Listen,
Have you not said that?
No, I haven't said it yet.
Okay.
I'm about to though.
Oh, I wanted to spoil it for you.
Oh, thanks a lot. Anyone that knows me, I have said this to them, and they know this, and now you will hear it. But I have my spot picked out in the backyard where I plan on being buried.
Under the gumbo limbo tree.
Yeah, I'm not. Listen, I'm not going anywhere. This is where I plan on being until the end.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and not that we don't have ideas of retirement in other places, but
Right.
this is our home.
This is home.
This is home.
Yeah.
So.
And we've like, we don't have time to get into all the different things that we've done, and I'm sure this will all come up as we speak. Continue to speak to you guys through the podcast, but we've done upgrades room by room, piece by piece to.
Yeah, well, next week's episode is going to be about all the
do-it-yourself stuff.
What it's taken.
Yeah.
Because this was just part one of getting a house. Yeah. But what does it mean to be homeowners? So just to go back now to the pond, right? Mm-hmm. So we are now left with this giant hole. How deep would you say that hole was?
Well, I stood in it, and it was about just above my chest. It was like 5 feet deep, 5.5 feet deep.
So I feel like I am the visionary and you'll hear about this next week, but I am the visionary in projects around the house. I am Joanna, and you're my Chip.
But I don't get paid like Chip.
But I mean, so next week we'll talk about that, but
yeah, there's so much that we've done to the house, and like I said, Katmia is, or like she said, Katmia is the visionary. She tells me stuff, and I'm like, you are crazy. That is not gonna look good. And she looks at me and she's like,
trust.
Chip, get moving, make it happen. And then we do it, and I stand back, and I'm like, wow, I have no idea how you saw that. I'm glad you did. So,
yeah.
But we'll get into some of that stuff.
Yeah, we'll do that next time. So wait, should we leave them on a cliffhanger with what happened to the hole?
No, we should tell them about the hole.
Okay, so we'll tell you about the hole, right?
Yeah.
So, number one, great, we didn't have to get rid of all of that, right? Mm-hmm. But now we've got to close that hole.
Yeah.
And how many truckloads did it take to close that hole?
Quite a bit.
And we were free labor here.
Listen.
You can talk to our kids about this, too. We had shovels.
We have pictures of all this stuff.
I don't think we have pictures of that
because
that was back-breaking labor.
Listen, we needed to fill in the hole.
That is what? At least
it was like
5 deep
and 8 wide.
8
or more.
It was I
huge.
feel like it was like a small pool.
It was a small pool.
Okay, so we've got to close this hole, and I have plans for the backyard and what is going to go in there. And this is literally the first time that I've actually delved into Pinterest.
Yes.
But I think we're going to leave that for next week.
Yeah, we can talk about
What
evil
yeah.
Pinterest next week.
Evil?
Yes.
Gosh.
I cannot allow you on Pinterest. It costs me money
Stop.
every time.
Stop. You're a willing participant.
Yes. Well, okay, so what happened with the hole? So we fill the hole, and
I mean, we fill the hole with what? What did you fill it with? Trash? I think a lot of it was trash.
Well-
Not actual, like, house trash.
right. Well, so
Leaves,
Yep.
rocks.
whatever.
Where did you bring that from?
My dad brought us 2 truckloads
Of trash.
of leaves and branches and
So are you saying
whatever.
that eventually, if it rained enough, we could sink into that hole in the back?
it's already kind of sinking.
It's sinking already.
It is. That's why there's that little bit of a dip that's there.
Listen, and just
But listen,
bless his heart, the
it's-
owner who dug this. I hope he didn't dig it himself. I hope he had a backhoe do this, okay? Because what people need to understand, and I feel like our yard is special in that way. I think that our yard was previously filled with every rock that existed in South Florida. Because you just take a pick and you hit the ground.
Yeah, when you lift
When-
up
when
you
you
lift
hit-
up regular dirt, it comes with rocks.
It comes with rocks. I mean, you hit it, and it's like you've already struck the cap rock, which it just can't be. We can't live on it like that.
It's horrible.
I think it's been filled with rocks somehow.
It sucks.
Okay, so 2 truckloads. We close it up finally, right? As best as we can. Then we got to dump soil on
Yeah,
top.
we dumped soil on top.
I don't even know how much soil.
We put down
And then grass.
Well, first we did the. So I had to put down the sand and create the circle. So what we ended up doing in that space was we made a fire pit.
But that's the Pinterest story.
I know, but we have to say what it ended up
Okay, fine.
as.
Yes, we did a
So
fire pit.
we created.
Wait, but so I see this beautiful thing on Pinterest, right? And in fact, I still to this day run across it on Instagram. It's one of the most popular things, and I'm gonna post when we do the post for this week. I'm gonna show you guys the thing that I actually saw on Pinterest for how to turn your backyard into this beautiful fire pit sitting area, right? And then what we did, which I think was almost a replica of
Yeah,
it.
it was really good.
And I showed it to you, and you said, "Okay." I mean, are you sure that's what you want, right? So, okay, yeah, we live in South Florida. Your chances of using a fire pit are probably 2 a year, would you say?
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky, okay. For me, I would use it out there in the summer. Okay?
She's crazy,
I
people.
love the fire pit. There's something I love about hearing the wood cracking, and I don't know. It's just, to me, it's so much fun. It's so much fun to have a fire pit. Okay. So, and we decide, hey, we're going to do this, but oh God, right?
Yes.
Oh God.
It was crazy amount of precision compacting of the ground, putting down the sand, putting down block by
Thankfully,
block.
this article had good instructions to follow and how to measure.
And at the end, you'll see the picture. We'll put it up so you can see it. At the end of it, it was something that I'm still proud of to this day.
Yes. Well. So, how many pavers did you buy?
I don't know. It was,
It
too
like
many.
800 pavers.
It was too
and
many.
he puts me and the kids, right? While you were in charge of having that flat metal thing where you would like stomp it on the ground to make it flat. Me and the kids are going around hands and knees, laying paver at a time in a specific.
I was like looking over and just making sure that everything lined up. I was like, no, change it, move it, go this way, move that way, do this, do that, go.
And they all had to be smooth, so sometimes we had to like dig it in, and it didn't fit right, and no knee pads, which, good God, okay. So I mean, when our kids hear this one, they can attest to the hot, brutal sun, the hours and hours. I think it took 2 days to get the whole thing done.
It was brutal.
It
And then
was.
afterwards to put the sealer and to do, it was worth it because it
Yeah,
really
and then
does
you
great.
had to dig the holes for the post, which had to
Right.
be very deep because they had to be cemented in to hold up the lights and everything. And
I got some of Michael's friends to come over. Remember?
yes, you did.
And I was like, "Hey guys, you guys want some food? Come dig some holes for me." And I had them dig 4 holes, and they were out there for a long time, but they dug the 4 holes for me, and
yeah.
we got those up, and then we had to put down all the soil around the outside and put the grass down, and
And remember, it was
it changed
it
the
changed
backyard.
like it because now when you looked outside of the kitchen window, which is the big one that faces the yard, originally all you could see were those trees and all that lush green stuff that he had around the pond.
Mm-hmm.
But now with all of that gone and the whole area
And-
as
and-
best flattened as we could, because it was kind of lumpy.
And everything else behind it, because we just started taking down. We just opened up the entire yard because
Right.
it was just trees all the way to the back.
What an amazing difference it made.
It was
amazing.
incredible.
And then we splurged. We got the good chairs from Lowe's.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, I mean, you look at it, and I think that is what inspired. I think you were able to see, wow, I was able to do something I had no knowledge of how to do before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
that started our
Yep.
projects.
Yep, that did
So,
start it.
Hey, but speaking about splurging, so our weekend away, we kind of started there and really.
Oh, you wanna end
deviated.
there?
Yeah, we gotta talk
Ow.
about it.
Ow.
So, in case you're wondering
sorry.
what the owls are for,
Well, here's the thing. I really like sitting on my foot, but I can't.
and she's too far away from me to smack her leg. That's one of my favorite things
It's
to
so
do.
asleep right now.
So,
Sorry.
so we go away this weekend, and for our anniversary, and we go to Naples, stay on 5th Avenue. We got an amazing deal at the hotel because not a lot of people are staying. Well, we thought.
Well, the thing is, for it being spring break.
Yeah. So we get there, and we have like our restaurants lined up for the weekend, where we're gonna eat, where we're gonna go, what we're gonna do, the whole 9 yards. And let me tell you, we put our 20th year and our 21st year together. We splurged. We enjoyed our weekend. We had the most amazing food, both at
Pinchers.
Pinchers, a seafood place over there, and then Chops City Grill. Listen. Wow. It was
Okay,
amazing.
okay. If anyone has watched What About Bob, one of our favorite movies,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and that part where he's eating.
Oh, the fried chicken.
Well, no, just the part where he's eating in general,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he's like, oh, so good. We had to remember where we were.
Yeah, listen. I'm all about the good food, all about that, but we stuck out. We stuck out like sore thumbs.
Well, pretty much everybody in that plate, well, in Chop City Girl mostly, right? This is like people come in jackets to dinner, right? And you look around and you're thinking doctor, lawyer,
Whatever.
billionaire, whatever, right?
So
and here we are.
Yeah, and here we are, and
Trying not to lick our plates because it's so good.
So funny story. So we go in, right, and Katmia had gotten me a new shirt to wear that night. Nice button down, and I'm wearing it button down, sleeves are down, the whole 9 yards, and she's in a new dress, and we're just walking in, trying to fit in, I guess, right? And we sit down, and I see her looking around, kind of like she looked almost kind of like nervously, looking around, and I was like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, she kind of leans over the table and whispers to me, and she's like, I think I'm the only woman here that's showing any tattoos. I don't know if that's okay." And I look around, and I don't see any guys either, right? But my tattoos are covered because I'm wearing a long sleeve. So right before our meal was served, I unbuttoned my sleeves and
Because you
pull
said,
them
"Don't
up.
worry, don't worry, I'll take care of that."
Yep, I pull up, and I have 2 lower sleeves of tattoos that are now showing as we're sitting at the table at this restaurant. And I don't know. I didn't look around to see if we had any peering eyes, but
Whatever, we're on
listen,
vacation.
we enjoyed it.
We did.
It was fantastic.
So if anyone ever goes to Naples and you're looking for a recommendation on a steakhouse,
Yep, take a little
I
bit of money because
mean,
you're gonna need it,
because listen,
but worth every penny.
best steak place that I think people go to that's a chain, probably you'd say Longhorn. I always
Okay.
have a good steak at
Yeah.
Longhorn. Okay, but this is like, that's saying McDonald's compared to this.
Mm-hmm.
They age their own steaks there.
Yeah,
My
it was,
brother, I posted a picture of my steak, and my brother's like, are they gonna come cook that for you?
Listen, you want to talk about perfectly cooked? There was nothing left on our plates. We ate
Oh my gosh,
everything.
so good.
I had an 18-ounce ribeye, and Kemia had
New York strip
a
is my
14-ounce
favorite.
New York strip with sides.
So good.
And
Listen, I make no excuses for the fact that I can eat a nice piece of steak.
listen. I wanted to pick up my plate and lick it because it was so good.
So good.
Everything
so good.
on it was so amazing. So yeah. So that's how we celebrated our 21st year.
Yep.
Well, our 21-year anniversary.
Yeah.
And started our 22nd.
Yes.
So, but yeah, wow.
Did you just want to talk about the food? That's why you circled back to this?
Well, I don't know. I think it's because I'm hungry.
Oh, and aren't you smoking a chicken?
Oh, yes, I am today. Yes. That's another thing we can talk about.
Yeah. For another day.
For another day.
But
for today,
I guess he's hungry, folks.
I don't know. Maybe. Yes, I'm very hungry right now. I don't know. Anyways, we've it was nice to go back and relive the us getting our house. Kind of forget a lot of the little things as you kind of go through it. And,
yeah.
It was
But yet
such
the
a
best
crazy
is
process.
still to come, because part one was buying the house, and now it's having a house.
Yes, it's having
And
a house.
and the things that people tell you, like, you're never done fixing up your home, or you're never done doing things to your home. Yeah, that was, sure, I can see how that's true, but you don't know until you're there what that actually means. So.
And sometimes those things come unexpectedly.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, join us next week as we continue.
We'll talk about all the mishaps and things that have happened while being owners of a house for almost 5 years. God, what is waiting for us then later?
Right?
Oh gosh.
Hey, so anyone who's still here listening to us and has come back week after week, we are so
Grateful.
overwhelmed
Yes.
at looking at how many people are listening
Yeah.
to our podcast. Shout out to California and Oregon and Maryland and West Virginia and Virginia. Like, we don't know people there, so we know that there are people listening to us that don't know us, which is incredible.
And just the feedback we've gotten has been so amazing, because again, it's just, we're just having conversation, and people are enjoying that.
Yeah, we love getting.
That's just amazing.
We love getting these messages that come out of nowhere, and just say, "Hey, you're your podcast is so funny. It's so enjoyable, and we're surprised by it ourselves. So send us those messages. You have right on our website, the this and that chat.com. You can go on there and send us a message there, or you can go to our Instagram page and send us a direct message there. Interact with our post, write comments there, or our story, or whatever. Just let us know what you think, and if you have any suggestions, you can do that also just the same way. We are so grateful for you guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and we
Until
will
next time.
continue next time.
Bye.
Bye.